Greetings, everyone. Ryder Bullock with you. We have major breaking news to report as we come to you on the air. The Milwaukee Bucks have traded franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat in one of the most significant deals in NBA history. According to reports, the Heat will receive Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis in return. Milwaukee acquires Tyler Hero, Kel Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yonokis, three first-round draft picks, including the 13th overall selection in tomorrow night's NBA draft, a future pick swap, and a second-round pick. For Milwaukee, this marks an end of an era. Giannis arrived as an unknown teenager from Greece in 2013 and leaves in arguably the greatest player in franchise history. Over 13 seasons, he transformed himself from a raw prospect into a two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, Finals MVP, and 10-time All-Star. Most importantly, he delivered Milwaukee's first NBA championship in 50 years when the Bucks captured the 2021 title. But tonight, the partnership comes to an end, and for more on that, we bring in Hardwood Report analyst for the first time. I can say those words. Benjamin Zion. Benjamin, you're hearing this news for the first time. What do you make of all this?
Oh, man, it's incredible, Ryder. I appreciate you for having me on as always. You know, I look at this trade and it's just a whole entire personnel change for the Miami Heat to build around Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, that's obvious to anyone that knows who Giannis the Alphabet Man is, and to know that this Miami Heat team was actually viewed as a playoff team even before Giannis joined them just now. But, you know, they had problems. Terry Rozier, the scary man, and I say that because Terry's scary. That's what we used to call him. He had his legal troubles. There were other problems with the Miami Heat throughout the season, you know, not having Jimmy Butler there as well, you know, really just going with the young talent. And what I can say here, first and foremost, the young talent, you know, Jaime Jaquez, weird name because it's Spanish, of course, but he was incredible. UCLA, could be a six-man easily for Miami and even a starter on the Milwaukee team. I actually think that it's possible that he could start next to Kel'el Ware, depending on what happens with and you know the best about your ex-Pacer, the center for the Miami Heat. I mean, excuse me, for the Milwaukee Bucks that was traded from Indiana in the previous season. You know, this is, to me, it's a pretty good look, especially having Tyler Hero, who's just a knockdown shooter, absolute scorer for this Milwaukee Bucks team. And then Yakachonis, I think that's how we say his name, or at least how I've heard it been said. He's a great guard. I mean, he actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Goran Dragic, but not left-handed. So, I mean, this is a really good pick, you know, 3 first-round picks, including a number 13 and 1 pick swap and a second rounder. This is what sources are telling Shams right now. So I think this is not bad at all for, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks if they intend on keeping these players and using them, or maybe trading one, whatever the case. And then overall for the Miami Heat, I mean, as long as Giannis can be Giannis and continue dominating the floor, this Miami Heat team could be a playoff contender, you know, and even go into the final rounds of the playoffs as long as the Miami Heat is able to structure a nice roster around him.
I want to talk about the 13th pick for a moment. It is Miami's, but it will now belong to the Milwaukee Bucks. Kareem Lopez from Mexico, the shooting forward who's currently playing overseas in New Zealand, you know, is the projected person to go to that team. Rival teams believe the Heat to be the primary suitor for Giannis Antetokounmpo. We know that to be now a fact. So Lopez has interest above this and is an option for Milwaukee. Was an option for Miami. Do you think? Do you think? I was not. Let me rephrase the question. Do you think the 13th projected pick now, because it's Milwaukee, do you think that will change, or do you think it's just that's who Miami wanted? But do you think it'll change now with Milwaukee making that pick?
That's very interesting. I don't know if there's any rumors about that pick changing, but there is a lot of say in the Hispanic Latin American community that Kareem Lopez is the guy. He's not just a small forward, he can also ball handle and create his own shot from what we've seen in this other league. Will that translate to the NBA? That's yet to be seen, but I think at the end of the day that, and sorry, I'm, got the TV on in front of me, so I noticed my face is going all sorts of different colors. I think that he could possibly play a fit on this team, you know what I mean? Or he's going to be someone that's in the Miami Heat system, whether he's coming off the bench.
Well, he'll be in the Milwaukee system now because they'll be
You're
trading.
right. Oh, they're trading. See, my brain is still catching up to it. Okay, so will Milwaukee want him?
Well, I guess that's the long way to the question there. That's the question I couldn't get out of my mouth. Do you think Milwaukee would want him?
Oh, well, let's go switch because I was looking at the Heat roster as we speak. I don't know if the Bucks would want to have this kid. I mean, we're gonna look at the team now, and they're guard heavy. They're very guard heavy. I forget how tall Kareem is off the top of my head, but if he is to play the forward, then he's got to battle forward minutes with Kyle Kuzma, who would, as of now, be a starter for them. They got Deng, who was traded from Oklahoma City, I believe. Let me just make a quick check. Yep, he was traded for Oklahoma City. He hasn't played a lot. He's a raw young guy, so maybe you would have him come off the bench because otherwise, the roster for the Bucks, I wouldn't call it accurate, but their third string small forward is Taurean Prince, who can play. Taurean Prince is no snub, so maybe the Bucks would keep him if they need a forward body, but otherwise, do they want to go with a rookie who's unproven in the NBA, or would they rather have someone that is a known talent? I guess what I would say with that is Jaime Jaquez can play the small forward. I would say he's more of a power forward, but Jaime can definitely play a lot. He could be a starter next to Kuzma, so then you'd have to have Lopez coming off the bench. So I guess that could work for the Milwaukee Bucks. I just I don't know what's in Milwaukee's head right now after making this big trade.
Yes. For those of you just joining us, the Milwaukee Bucks have traded franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat in one of the most significant deals in NBA history. According to ESPN Sean's Sharanya, the Heat will receive Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis. In return, Milwaukee acquires Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jamie Duclair Jr., and Kasparis Yakonis. 3 first-round picks, including the 13th overall selection in tomorrow night's NBA draft, a future pick swap, and a second-round pick. For Milwaukee, this marks, obviously, the end of an era. Giannis arrived as an unknown teenager from Greece in 2013 and leaves as arguably the greatest player in franchise history. 13 seasons, he transformed himself from a raw prospect into a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, Finals MVP, and 10-time All-Star. Most importantly, he delivered Milwaukee's first NBA championship in 50 years when the Bucks captured the 2021 title. But tonight, the partnership comes to an end. Reports indicate Antetokounmpo had privately informed the Bucks organization for more than a year that he believed it was time for both sides to move on, despite repeated efforts by Milwaukee's front office to build another championship contender around him. The franchise ultimately chose to accept Miami's offer and begin a new chapter. Let's talk about Milwaukee for a minute. We saw this coming. We talked about it last season, and it didn't happen. This season, it kind of led up to that. So no surprise there. But why do you think now is the right time to move on?
Well, we started with the failed experiment of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo together that didn't really work out as planned. And then, of course, Damian Lillard got hurt. We had to rely on the Bucks organization, I should say, had to rely on all this other personnel that they thought might be able to make it work with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it didn't pan out. I guess he wasn't thrilled with the front office. He wasn't thrilled with the management. He wasn't overall thrilled with the team, and just thought that he needed a whole change of scenery with, rumors and accusations and all this stuff flying around that I think frankly made it uncomfortable for Giannis to be in Milwaukee because of everything that was going on. So hopefully a change of scenery will be great for Giannis, and he can still be great as we know he should be great. But as you said, this came to a head essentially. There was frankly an environment that I don't think was conducive for Giannis. It's not that, he's maybe being a baby, whatever the case, he's not grateful. I think he did everything for Milwaukee. He brought them a championship. He did his absolute best with the team. And, it didn't feel like a team that he could progress with. So rather than tear it all down just for him, he bowed out and said, let me go try a new environment, and then I'll let Milwaukee do as they please. So, I'm happy for him. There were a lot of other rumors of where he would go, even the Lakers trading, even Austin Reeves and LeBron James, or even trading Luka to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. But obviously that didn't happen. And I'm also, very excited for these Miami Heat players that will get time to shine as well, hopefully. I think Jaime, like I said, he could be a starter. Khalil Ware, he's a little bit maybe still unproven, but I think he's a very good center, very athletic, and, fast center for his size. He's able to really move as if he's a guard, because he actually used to be a guard before he got big. So I think it's overall a good move for both teams. I just hope that the Milwaukee fans continue to show up for their team, and they don't, bow out a little bit because they're just upset that Giannis isn't there anymore and that the team couldn't keep him around.
For the Heat, this is another landmark moment in the organization's history. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but Pat Riley has once again landed one of the league's biggest stars. Giannis now joins a list of franchise-altering acquisitions that includes Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Jimmy Butler. And Giannis will pair with Bam Adebayo as Miami immediately vaults back into the championship conversation in the Eastern Conference Finals. What do you think a Giannis-Bam duo will look like come October?
Dominant, very dominant. I mean, it's great that, and he can be the off-ball guy. I mean, I think, Bam Adebayo's style of play is great as the, pick and roll, little jump shots as well. And he's worked on his three as well, as we saw from his, incredible scoring game earlier this season. He scored the most in the NBA this season, or the season we just had. Regardless, I mean, they're going to be very scary down low, Giannis and, Bam Adebayo. They're a force down low on the offensive glass, on defense, running downhill. And, you got to respect both of them, because they can make jump shots when they're feeling it. And if for some reason Giannis and Bam just don't have the jump shots going, they're going to run down the gut and, dunk all over you. So, that's very, very scary to go up against. So it'll just be interesting to see, what comes of the starters for this, I should say the shooting guards, at least in the forwards for this Miami Heat team, because we're going to see Norman Powell. He's an LA product that we've actually seen at the open runs with Jaime Jaquez, all these other guys. I'm talking about the Rico Hines open runs. Shouts out UCLA and Rico Hines. These guys are absolute ballers. I mean, I think Norman Powell has a chance to be the leading scorer for this team. And people say, well, what do you mean? Like, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shouldn't he be the leading scorer? Depends on the style of ball Miami Heat wants to play. You could run everything through Giannis, make it ISO ball, and then the off guys will be, Norman sets up in the three. Giannis kind of sets, up behind the basket or to the side at the elbow, whatever the case. But it doesn't have to always play that way. It could be a team ball game. And with team ball, you have all these guys getting shots up at the same, rate per se, or more of an equal rate. So I do wonder if Giannis will play that kind of team style of ball that I think Pat Riley and the Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra, would like to be played. Because I'll just say, in my personal opinion, and, there are some people with Miami that probably feel the same way, ISO ball takes everyone else out of the game. You could be Bam Adebayo scoring, a zillion points in a game, but that's a one-time occasion. You could be Giannis Antetokounmpo scoring 50 in a game, but we saw even in Milwaukee sometimes where Giannis scores 50, they still lose because they don't have that shooter in crunch time that's ready in the fourth, whatever the case. So we're going to see what happens, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. The Heat's title odds were 30-1. That was the ninth shortest, to now 18-1, 15th shortest via DraftKings Sportsbook after the news just broke. We are getting some new details here. So for those of you just joining us, the Milwaukee Bucks are trading franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr., and Kasparas Giannis, 3 first-round picks, including the 13th in tomorrow's NBA draft, 1 pick swap, and 1 second-round pick. The Heat are sending to Milwaukee the unprotected first-rounders in 2031 and 2033, along with a number 13, a pick swap in 2030, and a 2033 second-rounder, according to sources. The trade does not include any additional teams. It is a one-to-one move, sources said, but both the Heat and Bucks will execute the deal on July 6th, which leaves the framework open to see if there are opportunities to expand. Last June, the Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets agreed to a deal that ultimately increased to a historic 7-team trade. The Bucks are acquiring 4 players in their 20s in the deal. Hero, who grew up just outside Milwaukee and attended Whitnell High School in Greenfield, Wisconsin, made the All-Star team in 2025 and averaged 19.5 points per game over 7 seasons with the Heat. The 26-year-old played just 33 games last season after undergoing surgery on his left foot last September. Jaquez, 25, finished second on the 6th Man of the Year ballot last season after he averaged 15.4 points, 5 rebounds, 4.7 assists over 75 games. Ware, 22, averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds per game, but the 7-footer was in and out of Coach Eric Spoelstra's rotation. The 20-year-old Giannis was number 20 overall pick in last year's draft. He averaged 6.2 points in 17.8 minutes per game. So just like that, the Bucks are a very young team all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, it's true. And they got Tyler Hero that should be leading the charge for that starting lineup. So that's going to be very interesting to see, basically the Miami Heat starting lineup minus Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins is now the Bucks team to start, the season. Will they insert Taurean Prince into the starting lineup as the small forward? Who's going to be the point guard if it's not, Tyler Hero? And that's if they continue to go, if that's going to be their starting lineup, Tyler Hero with Khalil Ware and, Jaime Jaquez. So, I don't know if you know anything, Ryder, about the status of the center from Milwaukee who was on Indiana, whose name
Miles Turner.
Yeah, Miles Turner, because sorry, Miles, you just didn't really show up for Milwaukee, so that's why I forgot your name, even though I actually wanted you on the Lakers. I wanted you to come from Indiana to LA, but what's going to happen with Miles Turner? Is Miles Turner still going to be the starter? Are they going to shop him? Are they going to,
I don't know. I don't know what their plan is for him. I know he's still under contract with the Bucks. He signed that 4-year, $108.9 million contract with the Bucks. So he's got at least 3 more years on that contract. But whether or not he'll be the starter is to be determined.
And I think that the Milwaukee Bucks, if they can't trade him for a better center, they might as well stick with him, because I don't know if you can trade, Miles Turner for a center that's better than him. In fact, I don't really think you can. If someone wants to prove me wrong, please feel free, let us know. But
technically, the Pacers did when they got. It was a kind of a roundabout, but they got Zubac. So but I don't know. That was kind of a roundabout trade, but
Yeah, and that's where we can argue, is a old school center, Zubac, who dives and dunks and plays defense better than Miles Turner, who can be a stretch five. Personally, I think that Miles Turner could be a better scorer and all around player than Zubac, but when Zubac is able to play his role and just do, defense and also, have like 10 dunks a game, that's all you ask of him, and he does that job well. So I mean, otherwise, I mean, Miles Turner on this Bucks team is just there with Jericho Sims as the third string center now, because it's either going to be Khalil Ware or Miles Turner as a center. That's how it's going to work, unless there's no other way. That's how it's going to be. And then you have Pete Nance, Larry's brother, who's the third string center. So I mean, you kind of need Miles Turner on that team, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know how he would take it if he's coming off the bench for Khalil. I think you have to have Khalil come off the bench as a respect thing, because Khalil is the young guy, Miles Turner is the vet, and they both have different but great styles of play, in my opinion, when they're on. So yeah, I mean, I think both teams really scored in this, Ryder. The only thing that I do have questions about is the point guard role for the Milwaukee Bucks. They got a bunch of young guys. Who's going to pan out on top as a point guard? Is it going to be Kevin Porter Jr.? Is it going to be Ryan Rollins? Is it going to be I think it's between those two, actually, at this moment in time. Miami Heat, they got Mitchell as their guard, and he looked good in the playoffs. I think he's a pretty great guard. I watched him a lot on Sacramento as well. And yeah, I mean, maybe some people have questions about the shooting guard position for the Miami Heat, but overall, this team is deep. I mean, if we just look at their roster really quickly, and I'm gonna, say it with Giannis on the team, you would essentially have a starting lineup as Giannis Antetokounmpo with Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, and Davion Mitchell. That's great. And then off the bench, they got young guys they can go to at guard, Drew Smith, Jahir Young. They got Pell Larson, who's also really great. He also reminds me of Dragic. Jokic and Larson remind me of Dragic, both of them. They almost look identical on the floor. It's hilarious, in a great way. They also have Nikola Jovic. A lot of people forget about Nikola Jovic. He's a great player as well. He could be, a stretch five. He's not necessarily slender either. He's a fit guy. He's a very fit guy. Nikola Jovic is a great big off the bench, and maybe they would look for a little bit more scoring off the bench. Simone, I'm gonna try to say his Italian last name correctly. Fonatecchio has been hot and cold for the Miami Heat. He came from Utah previously. I don't know if they stick with him. I don't know if they try to get more guard scoring, but otherwise, you got scoring off the bench with the bigs, whether it's going to be, Nikola Jovic, Keyshawn Johnson can score down low. Let's not forget the Michigan guy, Vladislav Golden, who is a whole 7 foot something. I mean, he looks huge down there. He's not, Wemby huge, but he's a strong big 7-footer. So they got bigs, this Miami Heat team, that's for sure. Maybe I would say the only thing that they should look at is guards and forwards off the bench. Who are their personnel going to be there?
Yeah, will be definitely interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the Eastern Conference that now features a Miami team led by Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo, while Milwaukee begins a full-scale retool built around young talent, draft capital, and future flexibility. Once again, the trade cannot officially be completed until July 6th, but barring any modifications, one of the most consequential moves of the modern NBA era is in place. Giannis Antetokounmpo's legendary run in Milwaukee is over, and he is taking his talents to South Beach. Pun totally intended there. Anyway, for those of you who were watching the NBA Rising Stars Invitational, we broke into that. I'm so sorry. Berwick College just defeated Bouquet Jalil Sports School 91-35, but more pressing things to talk about than high school basketball, unfortunately. As we try to make sense of this. And that is really everything that we know at this moment. It's been a busy night, busy day, really, in the NBA. It started with the Dallas Mavericks hiring Michigan head coach Dusty May. And then, of course, we broke the news that Dawson Mew is going to get a 5-year, $112 million deal with the Timberwolves.
Huge for Ayo.
Yeah. What now?
It's huge for Ayo Dosunmu. Absolutely huge.
Yes. Yeah. And then Trae Young, he's got his contract extension. He will stay a Wizard. And, of course, Julius Randle and that whole thing there, which is not right here. Julius Randle off to the Nets as part of a three-team trade. So the Wolves to trade Randle to the Nets, and then Claxton is going off to the Bulls, and there's another person in that trade, right? Brooklyn Nets are acquiring three-time All-Star forward Julius Randle from the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's part of a 3-team deal that also will send Nick Claxton to the Chicago Bulls.
Mo Gaye is going to the Timberwolves as well from the Bulls.
Okay, that's the third guy. There it is.
Yes, like, Mohamed Gaye. Call him Mo now.
Yeah.
Mohamedou. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was like, why isn't he on this thing here? But
he's a Pittsburgh product. I watched some of his games.
Oh, here it is.
Fan.
Yeah. Mo Gaye to the Timberwolves, and they're part of the deal.
Yeah.
So the deal involves two of the teams, Brooklyn and Chicago, that had the most salary cap space heading into free agency. Randall's $33.3 million salary for next season is now slated for the Nets books. Claxton's $23.3 million goes on the Bulls ledger. And Dosunmu, 26-year-old unrestricted free agent, was an instant fit for the Wolves after they acquired him from Chicago at the trade deadline in February, averaging 19.2 points on 50% shooting, 42.5% from three, 5.4 rebounds, and 4.6 assists in the postseason, helping Minnesota stay competitive, while superstar Anthony Edwards dealt with a hyperextended left knee and a bone bruise in the first round against the Denver Nuggets. Minnesota also now will have the $15.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception and the $5.5 biannual exception to fill out the roster in free agency, and also had a $33.3 million trade exception credited, according to ESPN's Bobby Marks. Okay. And then Claxton, 27, will join Chicago's youth movement after spending his entire career in Brooklyn, which drafted him in the second round in 2019. The 6'11", 215-pound big man averaged 11.7 points on 57.1% shooting and 6.9 rebounds this past season. He also set career highs in touches and assists, was the first Nets player with at least 250 assists and 75 blocks in a season since Derek Coleman in 1993. So because Chicago is using cap space to acquire Claxton, the deal cannot be finalized until July 6th. So that's what we know on that one. And while I get more information on Trae Young, do you want to chime in on that one?
Well, before we jump to Trae Young, I just want to say that one thing that I think is pretty amazing is the fact that Ayo Dosunmu got that $112 million contract. And some people might not even know who he is, but if you watch the NBA playoffs when Anthony Edwards got hurt and Ayo Dosunmu jumped in, I mean, he looked great for them. So hopefully he continues that greatness with the Milwaukee Bucks and proves that he was well deserving of that $112 million contract. As for Trae Young, I mean, this Wizards team could be pretty good. I mean, I say they could be pretty good. I mean, they look great on paper, in my opinion, but we've seen how some of these teams with Trae Young have had their problems, and I'm not being a New York Knicks fan here, just trying to trash Trae Young. Still don't know why they do that, man. Come on. I do know why they do it, but I'm not getting into that. I don't like the dirty politics. But you look at this Wizards team, and a lot of the names are new and fresh. But if you watch the Wizards last year, they got a lot of talent. Some of it is pretty raw. A lot of these guys again are young, but Trae Young can be a leader on this team if he's able, and then put them in a winning direction. At least that's what he would want to do. That's what the front office is hoping. That's what the team is hoping. So as it's slated right now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup would be Trae Young with Keyshawn George, who's a lockdown shooter, Bilal Coulibaly, who's also a great scorer, and he's actually a little bit I think he's a little bit big at his position at small forward. I think he's 6'7". Okay, but yeah, young guy, 21. He's a first round pick, number 7 actually by guess who? Indiana.
Wait. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, gotta throw those little jabs at Ryder, the Indiana fan. So yeah, we got Bilal Coulibaly with Keyshawn George, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, and if he can stay healthy, he's a great player with him, and Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr is a great 7'1" young guy. I mean, I think, yeah.
And also, don't forget they have the number 1 pick tomorrow night, and
they do.
All eyes will be, of course, on Big 12 Freshman of the Year AJ Debonsa, who is now going to play with not just one great player in Anthony Davis, but 2 now with Trae Young. And so if you are a young rookie, what better 2 guys to play with and mentor your stuff there. But yes, free agent Trae Young.
By the way, sorry, not to interrupt. You know what's weird? Who's the guy that's slated as their fourth tier or in the rotation as point guard? It's not Bub Carrington, who's number 2. It's not number 3, who's Sharif Cooper. And some people might not know who any of those guys are. The number 4 point guard off the bench is none other than D'Angelo Russell. Ice in his veins. Oh, you can't even see it, but I mean, this team's got depth, actually. I mean, they got a lot of young, raw guys, and then it's like, oh, we'll just throw in D'Angelo Russell. Really? Wow. So, I mean, this team can do stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Free agent Trae Young is going to sign the dotted line to a 4-year, approximately $212 million deal to stay with the Washington Wizards with a player option in year 4. Young, a 4-time NBA All-Star, declined his $49 million player option Monday for a long-term commitment ahead of free agency. The Wizards and Young's representative CAA's co-head of basketball, Aaron Mintz, agents Ray Young, Andrew Morrison, and co-head of basketball, Austin Brown, land on a deal that will be less than maximum for Young with Washington, but equal to the max he could have signed elsewhere. Dirty basketball business. But Young, who wanted a trade to one team only, and that was the Wizards in January, is now stamping his desire to be in D.C. and elevate the team's rising young core that you just mentioned: Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, Will Riley, Bub Carrington, and whomever they select at number 1 tomorrow night, whether that is Debonsa, who I believe it will be, or maybe you go with Kansas's De'Aaron Peterson. Both will be great picks and will do great things. So that is Washington's dilemma right now. What a great dilemma to have.
It's an amazing dilemma. I mean, I've seen so much Peterson, though, because I am a KU fan. I got to watch him on ESPN. I do get to watch some BYU games on Fox or when they play my Aztecs as well, because I live in San Diego. But man, I mean, call me just, crazy because I watch more Peterson, but
Yeah.
I feel like Peterson would be not that the other gentleman wouldn't work for the Wizards, but I think Peterson would be a great fit on this Wizards team because he's pretty good when you're able to just pass the ball off to him and he's able to get his shots rather than working too hard for his shots. I'm not saying that, if Peterson was just alone on offense and had to try to score every single play, that he wouldn't be able to do it. But I think it's almost better to ease him in, whether he's going to be a starter in the NBA straight off the bat or coming off the bench. I don't know that you want to immediately put him in the scenario where it's, hey, none of the other guards and forwards can shoot. It's up to you. You need to score right away, figure it out. We don't even have a point guard to get you the ball. Having Trae Young be there to get him the ball and some of these other good point guards to be able to hand him the ball in an easier scenario shooting wise, I think that would be a great look for him. And now some people could say the same thing to me and go, well, what about the gentleman from BYU? He could just slide into that spot, get him a team where he has a great point guard that can pass the ball off to him so he can, do what he needs to do on offense. Yeah, I mean, it's a valid argument on both sides, but I like Peterson's game. I really do. And I just honestly haven't seen enough from the guy from BYU. So I'll be watching more highlights so I can tell y'all what I think by Wednesday on our next show.
Just to talk draft really quick, AJ DeBonsa and Darren Peterson both did workouts. Well, I shouldn't say workouts. AJ DeBonsa didn't work out for anybody, but they both met with Washington, and AJ DeBonsa met with Utah. Peterson chose only to visit Washington, spending time with the Wizards brass in DC, and Los Angeles, conducting multiple workouts. So Peterson worked out, DeBonsa did not. DeBonsa
was at the Lakers too? Sorry.
He spent time in Los Angeles. Yes, I think it was with the Clippers because the Clippers had the fourth pick.
Oh.
With the fifth pick, excuse me.
Interesting.
So I think he was with the Clippers there.
Not to cut you off, but I'm just curious. Are they saying that are the experts out here saying that Peterson will decline to play for any team unless it's
Nope. Okay. Peterson's not doing that. Peterson, for some reason, sources say Peterson's medical okay, that has nothing to do with nothing. I'm not sure why he didn't meet with Utah brass, if that's what you're asking.
Wizards and Clippers so far for him.
Yeah, Peterson chose only to visit Washington, spending time with the Wizards brass in DC and Los Angeles. So I think, conducting multiple workouts and establishing his preference to hear his name called at number one. If the Wizards pass on him, the expectation is that the Jazz will comfortably select him anyway. So Darren Peterson, if he goes so I guess the expectation is the Wizards are going to pick DeBonsa or Peterson, and whoever is left out of those two is going to Utah. That's my understanding as we stand here.
It'd be interesting for
from the draft.
DeBonsa to stay in Utah, being that he was at BYU. But with Peterson, I wonder, just kind of the way he is, wanting to get what he wants to get. If y'all know his history in college, if he would say, "No, I'm not playing for Utah. You're gonna have to trade me or waive me because I won't be here. I won't check in." I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just curious with how he's only been around two NBA teams.
Yeah, it will be interesting for sure. We mentioned the Clippers. I'll talk about them. They got the fifth pick via Indiana from the Zubac trade, and then got the fifth pick in the lottery. So after the consensus top four prospects come off the board, the second stage of the draft starts. And the Clippers have been at the center of trade rumors over the past week. And rival teams say they'll have options available, including moving back in the draft. The Clippers have been significantly outwardly. that intends to make the pick, but if the spot is fluid, they want Keaton Wagler. Now, there is also debate that they may take Mikel Brown Jr. As and are also considered by rival teams as the two most likely candidates if the Clippers stay put. I think Wagler's, of course, this is the point guard from Illinois, freshman. Um, it's so crazy. You got to go all the way to all the way first 10 picks are going to be freshmen this year, which is crazy to me. Well, I mean, it's not. It's the modern time we live in, but it is still crazy. But anyway, Wagler is strongly in play for the Clippers as a natural fit next to Darius Garland, who can handle point guard responsibilities while Wagler gradually develops into a high usage playmaker. I go back to the Clippers I saw in October. James Harden played in the Clippers game I did. He's no longer there. Chris Paul played in that game. He's no longer there. And I don't know how many more days Kawhi Leonard's going to be there. And oh, by the way, you're still under investigation for loopholes in the salary cap. So if I'm this young Keaton Wagler, am I calling my agent going, maybe not here?
That's possible unless Bradley Beal feels fine and he's ready to play for the Clippers. And
of course,
he
Matherin's there now.
Say that again.
I said, of course, Benedict Matherin's there now. So
Benedict Mathurin, he's your Indiana guy as well. So maybe those two dudes, along with a couple other guys on the team, say, hey, young fella, come over here. We got it handled. Don't listen to the drama. We'll be all good, even if Kawhi is maybe not here. Just come and see what's up. So I don't know if you want to make the call unless someone in your camp is saying, hey, bad politics with the Clippers. Don't go there. Of course, we don't know that. It's just speculation.
Yeah. Two more questions, and then we do got to get back to the NBA Rising Stars Invitational Game 2 of the day on YouTube at about 18 minutes from now. You can watch that via the NBA Rising Stars Invitational. The Jubilee High School taking on the Kyung Bok High School. That, of course, is the NBA Rising Star Invitational in Singapore going on this week. We'll have complete coverage on the Hardwood Report and the Rider Report Instagram channel. I want to remind folks so that game coming up in about 15 minutes from now. Want to stay on the draft, though, really quick. Actually, for those of you just joining us, Heat did land Giannis Antetokounmpo in that blockbuster trade. The Bucks are trading Giannis Antetokounmpo for Bobby Portis to the Heat for Tyler Hero, Ware, Jamie Duquez Jr., and Kasparis Yakonis, 3 first-round picks, including number 13 in tomorrow's draft, and 1 pick swap and 1 second-rounder per source. Where does maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not one that just ranks draft classes. I don't have I know 03 is probably a good draft class. 96 is a great draft class looking back. This one, though, seems different. I don't know if you're getting that, or obviously time will tell. But where do you think, as far 5-6 years from now, where do you think we'll be saying, this draft class ranks where?
Yeah, time will tell. I'm getting a text from a New York Knicks fan. We'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But it might be up there. A lot of these guys are just absolute talents. People that can score and create for themselves, all the way up to people like Yaxel Lendenberg, who could be kind of like a Kyle Kuzma in a way. So there's all these good picks, 1 through 10. Some of them could be just good, and some of them could be really great, even potential all-stars. So if that's what it turns into, we'll just be looking at this draft and saying, wow, these guys really panned out. But we've had drafts before where people have been 1 through 10 and they sucked and they were out of the NBA in a couple years. So, we know about the Morrisons of the world. Sorry, Morrison, picking on you. But there's been guys that have just been absolute busts. So I'm not comfortable ever going in and saying, oh my God, I'm a huge Peterson fan, and
Yeah,
DeBonsa
yeah.
looks amazing. So this is the best like ever, and
Right,
even
right.
Yaxel, and you got, I mean, even like Maya coming from the center from Michigan as well. He's a great player as well. He could be, dominating down low, so you look at all these players for what they have done, but then we're putting in perspective, it's what they could do. So we have to see how they pan out, see how they mesh with the team that they land on, and then we can go from there. The thing that the Clippers fan just texted me is you guys didn't mention Mohamed Diawara or Mo Diawara. I
Yeah.
believe he was by Mohamed. I don't know if I've never heard him be called Mo, but shouts out to whatever he wants to be called. He did sign, according to Shams, this is from today, just a couple hours ago, a $10 million deal to return to the Knicks. He was the 51st pick in last year's NBA draft, and of course was part of the championship team.
Yeah.
Diawara did get time in the regular season, and I liked his game. So I don't know how they will use him unless something happens where you're gonna maybe lose one of the guys off the bench, whether it's Landry Shamet, somehow maybe it's Jordan Clarkson, then maybe Diawara jumps in, and then the last comment that I got was, will Jason Tatum be on the trading block? And I asked why, and they sent me an interview where Stephen A just said 14 hours ago that Jaylen Brown wants to be the number one option for
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that, and there were some talks that Giannis was going to go to Boston,
right.
and some other things there. I don't know too much about that. I don't. I'm not going to speak on that till anything comes. That's poor locker room talk.
Yeah,
And yeah, I did hear Stephen A. talk about that, and that's an entanglement that I'm going to stay out of.
me too. I mean, hey, as long as Tatum balls out, I'm sure
Yeah.
that Brown is happy to have him ball out with him. I don't expect Brown to go complain publicly or privately to the Celtics and say, hey, how dare Tatum come back from a horrible injury and just play great. I'm very offended by that. I wanted to be the number one option. If you want to be the number one option, just go out and be the number one option. And I'm sure Jaylen Brown knows that if he balls out, and he can be the number one option. If Tatum balls out, he balls out. He's the number one option. I think it's a per game scenario sometimes with Jaylen Brown and with Jason Tatum. Whoever balls out gets to be the guy for that game.
Yeah, we are getting reports that this is getting from Shams. The Celtics aggressively pursued Giannis Antetokounmpo, offering Milwaukee a package featuring 2024 Finals MVP Jaylen Brown picks. So, and then you could have had Giannis and Tatum, and who knows what could have happened there. I'm looking for the Knicks.
It was buried in the ESPN thread. You got to scroll. If you're using the ESPN app, you got to scroll, or you just click on Sham's profile to see that.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on Sham's Instagram page here.
Shams, can you text Ryder?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I got it. No, I got it right there. I got it here. Yeah, restricted free agent. Yeah. I was like, why didn't we make that a graphic? But it's like, why didn't I make that a graphic? But
it's all good.
That, I guess that got buried. Sorry.
With the blockbuster. Sorry, Diawara.
No, it's been a hectic day. I mean, I woke up to Dusty May here, so
yeah.
I've been on the go since then.
Yeah. And I didn't even know about the Rising Stars game, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that too. We got basketball in Singapore to talk about, and lots going on in the NBA world. But I want to ask you this, and then we'll get off here. Well, two-part question. I said last night, I was somewhere, and I said, I'm interested to see in the draft. There were when I went to bed last night, there were two teams without a coach, right? There were Dallas and Portland. Okay, Dallas has a coach in Dusty May. We just watched, you and I just watched the Knicks win a championship with three guys who won a national championship together. Does Dusty May? Does Dusty May um,
Go for the Michigan guys.
go for the Michigan guys? Yeah.
I got to look at how that draft lands Yaxel Lendenberg and Maya. And there's I believe another Michigan player in the draft, and we'll cover that totally on Wednesday. I'll put that in my notes. But if it's possible to get Yaxel Lendenberg, I think you go for him. Although people might say, okay, look at the Dallas Mavericks lineup, Benji. What are you doing? Okay, so I will. And the power forward is who Yaxel Lendenberg is going to be. He's not going to play small forward. He's not going to play center. He's going to play power forward. So we look at this team right now, and as the roster goes, you would have PJ Washington at power forward with off the bench. It's technically Chris Middleton, who I think should be in a shooting guard or forward position, along with Caleb Martin, and then a totally, kind of just raw talent right now, which is Tyler Smith. Some people might not even know who he is. He's a 6'9" dude. He was a second-round pick, Milwaukee, number 33 in the draft in 2024. So I think you try to get Yaxel Lendenberg on this Mavericks team. And then, if you're concerned about, again, minutes off the bench, I think it should be simple because you should probably have PJ Washington and Lively together down low along with Cooper Flagg. And then off the bench, you'll have a Yaxel Lendenberg with Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall, and Chris Middleton. That's not too shabby. Sorry, Brandon Williams. I like Brandon Williams a lot, by the way, but you might need to, switch some things out a little bit. Or maybe you have Brandon Williams staying there with Chris Middleton. And again, Chris Middleton has been banged up, so maybe Chris Middleton is kind of second/third unit, depending on what you want to do, because they also have RJ Nembhard Jr., who is put on the third unit right now. But I think that RJ Nembhard can definitely play. So
Definitely
Nembhard and Brandon Williams will be battling for minutes, but have Yaxel on the team at the power forward.
Yeah. Just for context, right now Dallas has the 9th pick. Nate Ament, the power forward from Tennessee, is the projected player there. First Michigan player in the draft is currently Ade Mar, the center. He would go to Golden State. Morris Johnson Jr.
Morris is great.
Yeah. Morris Johnson Jr., the power forward / center, Michigan sophomore. He would go to Oklahoma City. They get that pick via the Clippers. And then
that's a good thing for Oklahoma because they just shipped off Wiggins to the Wizards.
Yes. And then Yaxel, power forward, shooting forward, Michigan senior, would go to Chicago. They get the 15th pick via Portland. But if there is a man who can get on the phone right now, it is Dusty May, and stranger things have happened in the NBA draft. We'll end it with this question. Mm-hmm. Portland is without a coach. And if you are a young freshman, sophomore, college kid, do you want to get drafted to a team that doesn't have a coach?
Well, do you want to play with Damian Lillard and Denny Avdia and all those guys? If you like the team on paper, you could, say it's going to be fine because Damian Lillard will be the de facto coach no matter what, because Portland is still his team, but it's also Denny Avdia's team as well. So I would risk it for a biscuit, honestly. And it's not just because I love Denny Avdia and Damian Lillard. But, maybe they're going to renegotiate with Tiago unless it's already a no-go for Tiago.
Tiago got the Chicago job.
Oh, you're right. Yep. So, see, this is me catching up with you all live. So, okay. Well, shouts out to Tiago for being in Chicago. He just signed up for a tougher job than in Portland. But, hey, good luck to him, and we'll see who Portland goes after. I think they need to go after a coach that is going to let the young shooters shoot. You don't want to, I don't think, go for a Tibbs personally, even though Portland defense is nice. I think Portland is a high offensive caliber team. that loves to run and gun. So get a run and gun coach if you're Portland. And I'll just say for the other power forward, by the way, number 9 that's slated to go to the Mavericks, I guess hold on to that guy if you can, because if you're going to get technically a better profile, I mean, a better power forward, possibly, excuse me, than Yaxel Lendenberg, then maybe go with him. Or if you really love Yaxel, maybe the coach could trade their pick at power forward for Chicago's Yaxel Lendenberg, if that turns out to be the way it goes. Otherwise, I wouldn't suggest that they go to the 10 pick, which is Mara. I don't think they need Mara on the Mavericks personally. I like him, but I think they should focus on a power forward.
Okay. Won't matter too much on Tuesday and Wednesday as the Blazers do not have a first or second round selection. But without draft picks, the Blazers are limited in acquiring young talent through the draft. This situation forces the team to focus on undrafted free agents, G League prospects, and trades to add new players. So they're in the same predicament as the Indiana Pacers are. Hands off Xavier Lee, Portland. He's coming to Indiana, mark my words. If not, well, then the Pacers blew it. But anyway, that will do it for us. Rising Stars Invitational over there on the NBA Rising Stars Invitational YouTube channel. It is Kung Bak High School taking on Jubilee High School 4 minutes from now. Benjamin and I will see you on Wednesday. I myself will see you tomorrow for the Hardwood Report Draft Countdown, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a full preview of tomorrow, reactions from this, plus, of course, night 1 and Rising Stars Day 1 reaction show immediately following round 1. And then Wednesday, June 24th, NBA Draft Countdown, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and immediately following the draft, night 2 and Rising Stars Day 2 reaction show immediately following round 2 of the draft. It is here, and what an off season it has been. That will do it for us. Enjoy basketball in Singapore. Oh, how do I? Oh,